Firstly, we would like to say the utmost gratitude towards Cars for letting us gather here on today's event with a good and stable state of health.
To start, for those who haven't know us, allow us to introduce ourselves. My name is Alfia, and my partner,
I am Pascal Jordi,
as Master of Ceremony for today's event. And we are very pleased to gather here in warm and remarkable moment.
Before we go to the core event of today's event, let us sing the Indonesian national anthem Indonesia Raya. Ladies and gentlemen, you are expected to stand up.
The audience is pleased to sit again. I have the honor of introducing Ms. Fatima as representative of Faculty of Cultural Study to present her opening remarks for today's event. For Ms. Fatima, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So, welcome to the this movie screening and discussion sessions held organized by the Laboratory of Humanities of the Faculty of Cultural Studies. So, first of all, I would like to welcome and also say thank you for all the honored guests today. We have Joshua Shen, Ibu Esti Durasanti, Pak Pugo Susetio, and also our honored guest today is Razi Jafri. So welcome to the Faculty of Cultural Studies. Welcome to Malang for you. Probably this is the first time for you? The first time in Malang. Oh, I see. So yes, welcome to Malang then. Okay. So it is one of awesome events that is held regularly by the Laboratory of Humanities of the Faculty of Cultural Studies, and it is one of the efforts of the faculty here to enhance the students' internal exposure. And then we also, because we also have, just for the information, we also have the Center of Excellence here as Digital Humanities. So, and in this occasion, so we really try to document all the culture that we have in Indonesia, particularly in Malang and also in East Java. So this is a very good opportunity. It is a very good opportunity for us, all the students here and also us here, the lecturers here, to know more about the value of how to produce film, how the creative process behind it. So this is a very valuable moments that we have with you, and I believe that all of us here will enjoy the discussions today. We will get new insights, and hopefully that it will inspire all of us here. And I think that there will be a very good discussions later, because we can also share and look forward for the how the culture in different countries, because if I'm not mistaken, the Hamtramck movie here is about Muslims in US. So this is a very good opportunity for us to see different culture that we have here. And yes, I also apologize that the dean and also the dean cannot come today because she has a meeting, but she sends her gratitude for all of your coming here. And we hope that this kind of event will happen regularly, and we would like to collaborate more with the US Consulate General. So hopefully that we can have a further collaborations, not only on the movie discussions like this, but in other aspects. Okay, so we will look forward for that, and I believe that Bu Fitri, Bu Wayan will also contact you for further collaborations in the future. So for all the students, enjoy the adventure, the journey of how to make a movie, and also learn how to have a creative process in filmmaking. So enjoy and have fun today. Okay, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much, Ms. Fatima, for the opening remarks. As Ms. Fatima said before, that hopefully this session and this event could inspire all of us. Yeah.
Yes, and have fun.
Yeah, fun. Yeah, exactly. And now we would like to welcome the representative of Consulate General of the United States of America, Mr. Joshua Shen, to deliver his speech. For Mr. Shen, the time is yours.
Selamat sore. Thank you very much for welcoming Ibu Fatima. That was a wonderful speech, welcoming us here, and also looking for future opportunities to cooperate. This is such an amazing university. It's an honor for you to invite us from the U.S. Consulate here. It speaks for itself, Brawijaya, and all the smart students who have come here. It's an honor to come in front of you. I say honor because I really like how they introduced me as the respectable Joshua Shen. I've never heard that. And that's right. I think honor is too much for me. So respectable, that's okay. It's not too bad. It's not too high. Yeah. So we're very excited to have a chance to do some cultural exchanges here. You know, sometimes we all talk about the latest issues like AI and climate crisis and gender equality. All of that is so important. We often think culture is secondary, but culture and arts, films and music and literature, all of these things speak to us on a much deeper level. And that's why we want, as the United States, to connect with Indonesians at a much deeper level. We're so honored to have our filmmaker from the United States take time from his very busy schedule to come all the way here to Indonesia. And I know he is so excited to be here. He loves Indonesia and maybe hearing some excellent questions. So while you think of and watch the movie, please think of some wonderful questions. Give him hard questions. Give him easy questions, whatever you want. But I know he's very much looking forward to it. Thank you very much for welcoming us again, and thank you for your generous hospitality. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Joshua Chen, for the opening remarks. That's very warmful and excellent. And before we dive into our excitement,
Yes.
I think I want to ask, how do you feel for today?
Yeah, actually, I'm pretty successful today because I can stand
Wow.
here in front of everyone, and I think
Yes.
everyone is look excited today. What about you, Alfia?
I feel very great for today because I cannot wait longer for to see the discussion and something. And how do you feel about the audience? Oh,
Okay,
maybe they need to eat. Yeah, they not have eaten yet.
it's not
because of
iftar yet, so they need to
Yes.
save their energy for iftar later on.
Wow. But Pascal, I wonder because today the ambience is so good, it's so lovely. I think it's too special to be missed, right?
Yes, exactly. So we need a little task for everyone to do, especially the audience. Here's the deal that you need to share your favorite moments of today's event on your Instagram story and make sure that you tag us too at US Kongen SBG. And also, the best part is that all the best and the creative Instagram story will get a prizes from Faculty of Cultural Studies.
Wow, what a great deal, right?
Yeah, but this is the thing that we need to remember, that you are not allowed to screen record the movie
yeah.
throughout the movie because that's
Yes.
against copyright.
Of course.
You're not going to be end up in jail, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
of
so
course.
just share everything, your favorite moments, but not the
But
movie.
not that video. Okay, so what a great deal. I am wonder I can join the discussion and also join the prize, right?
Yeah.
But sadly we couldn't
Why?
because who gonna lead this?
Yeah, there's no one who's
event?
gonna leave
There's
this
no
if you
one.
join this kind of challenge, right?
Okay, so without any further ado, Pascal, I think we should move on to, it's time to hand over those merchandise and spread some joy. And so without further ado, let's bring out our fabulous guest to come to the stage. And we would like to invite Mr. Razi Jafri and Mr. Joshua Chen to come to the stage.
And ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Mr. Joshua Shen and Ms. Razi Jafri. And we would like to invite Ms. Fatima to present the merchandise, because they've been working tirelessly to make sure everything's for you is perfect, guys. So let's give a round applause for Mr. Joshua Shen and Mr. Razi Jafri.
And we need to remember, Pascal, it's not just about the merchandise, right? It's about the memories we create, the friendships we forge, and the moments we cherish forever. And so let's make the most of it and keep those good times rolling. Okay.
Okay, maybe we could invite all the lecturer to do the
Yeah.
documentation.
We would like to invite all lecturers to the stage to take a documentation. So please come to the stage. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Mr. Joshua Shen. Okay. Wow. Maybe we could give applause to us all for the hard work, for the lecture, and everything, right?
Okay, there's a lot of merchandise. Miss Fatima, we're waiting for ours.
We're waiting for our part, right?
Yeah, we're waiting for our merchandise to be given to us.
Okay. So,
I think it is time for us to to dive into the real excitement that we've
of course,
we've been
we've been waiting for at
Yeah, the
and-
movie screening and discussion.
Of course, and this is the core of our event. So I think without any further ado, we would like to
Please
invite.
welcome the one
Please
and only
welcome.
Mr. Razi Jafri. Mr. Razi Jafri, the time is yours.
Okay. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It's an amazing honor to be here with you guys today to share my film with you, Hamtramck, USA. The film explores life and democracy in America's first Muslim majority city. And I just wanted to say, before the film starts that, being Muslim in America is a very complicated identity. We carry multiple identities as Muslims in the United States. The film explores some of this in the film. I think that you guys might be curious about what is Islam outside of Indonesia like. This is just one example of a small community. There's between 5 and 7 million Muslims living in the United States. It's the most diverse religion in America by ethnicity, nationality, so on and so forth. And so there's a lot of different opinions and views, but there's also a lot of beauty in that diversity as well. So we get to experience a lot of different cultures. One of the things I like to tell people is I feel like I have a passport to the United Nations because I get to meet Muslims from all over the world. So I'll talk a little bit more about how the film was made and just kind of go a little bit into the behind the scenes and some of the technical aspects, maybe if you guys have any questions around that afterwards in the discussion. But I'm really looking forward to your questions, so please feel free to ask me anything that you want, and I'm looking forward to meeting with you and discussing with you about the film afterwards. So thank you so much.
Alright, now it is time for the movie screening.
Of course, and it's the time to play the movie, right? It's something that we've been waiting for.
And hopefully that everyone can get some insight from this movie especially.
Yeah. And about the culture exchange,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Okay, now enjoy the movie.
In Hamtramck, we live on 30-foot lots. We see each other, we smell each other's foods, we hear each other's languages, we shop in the same shops.
For generations, Hamtramck, Michigan was predominantly Polish American. Now, it is the first Muslim-majority city in America.
I came here at age 3. It was not the way that it looks now.
What will happen when Yemeni, Bangladeshi, and Polish American candidates run for mayor and city council?
I've realized that I am probably the last in the 100-year line of Polish mayors.
There's been a divide between Bengali Muslims and Yemeni Muslims for a long time in this city. And that's why I'm running with a Bengali Muslim.
I think it's completely understandable that if you're a Bangladeshi immigrant in Hamtramck, you're going to want to vote for that Bangladeshi guy.
A window into America's new multicultural cities.
Above all, we need to be able to unite with one another.
That's when you smile to yourself and think, this is my city. It's pure Hamtramck, and there's no place like it.
Hamtramck, USA, on America Reframed.
Who is the city mayor? The city mayor tried to pick up something on the ground when somebody told her to pick up something. But when we did it here, I think the guard of the city mayor, their eyes will be widening out.
Of course. And maybe for the reminder, guys, you have to post your enjoyment through your Insta story, your Instagram account, and don't forget to tag US Congen SBG on Instagram. And of course, maybe this is something that we are waiting for the Mentimeter quiz, right?
Yeah, we're going to have the Mentimeter quiz, so I think everyone needs to prepare their
answer,
yeah,
their
answer.
phone, and also make sure you guys pay attention to the movie.
Okay, you need to scan the QR code on the screen to do the Mentimeter quiz. The top 3 of
Top
the best
five.
of
Top
top five.
five.
The top
Top
five
five
of the
to-
best score will get something
Yeah, and the top 5 will get the
special from us. Yeah.
Of course, fantastic for memories.
Yeah. Okay. Try to go to www.menti.com and enter the code 49260445. Have you? Oh yes. Okay.
Okay, I wish we could join this, but we couldn't, right? Okay. Have you done?
Oh, not yet.
Not
Okay.
yet.
Check your internet. Yeah. Make sure that you have quota. Yeah.
And also don't forget the stories.
Okay.
Oh.
37 players ready.
Oh, 40. Now
Oh,
40.
40. Okay.
41.
Oh, there are 5
Four-
questions.
5 questions. Only 5. So it's gonna be easy,
Only.
right? Only.
Okay, answer fast to get more point. Okay, the first question. In which US state is the primary setting of the film Hamtramck located?
I wonder what it is.
I know the answer.
Of course.
Okay, there are 4 options: New York, California, Michigan, Illinois. Okay, which one? Which one?
Which one?
Do not search your answer on
Yay.
Google.
31 is true. Are true. Wow.
Okay, 31 is true.
Okay.
I think
for
everyone have
warming
been-
up.
Yeah.
For warming up question. Okay,
Okay,
for the second
for the next question.
Question number 2.
Oh, 45 players
45
ready.
players here.
Who is the incumbent mayor of Hamtramck,
Hamtramck,
prominently featured in the film? Mhm.
20. So everyone.
Can we
is-
join this?
Yeah, I want join this, but
Okay, 42 have answered.
Have answered?
Okay.
Karen. Wow.
Who's answer Maria Garcia?
Who's Maria?
It's Maria Garcia. Okay, the question number 3. 46 players ready.
I think everyone is excited for the questions, right?
Yeah. Which community is prominently featured in the film? Okay, Hispanic, Arab American, African American, Chinese American. You are Indonesian, yeah.
Yeah, and you too.
I'm Japanese. I'm
Yeah,
proud to be Japanese.
You're from Batu, right?
Yeah, from Batu, exactly
Batu.
from Malang.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, the answer is Arab American, 42 correct.
Who answered
Who
Hispanic?
answered Hispanic?
Hispanic. Question 4 of 5.
Question 4. What is the central theme of Hamtramck? What is
I
that?
think
Political,
for those who pay
Corruption.
attention must be know this
environmental
question.
degradation, economic inequality, immigration and
Migration
assimilation.
and assimilation.
Okay, the answer is
32 is correct.
immigration and assimilation.
Great.
Okay, the last question.
question.
Okay, 42 players ready. 42, okay.
42.
Okay, the last question is... Answer fast.
Answer.
What year was Hamtramck released?
Wow, this is quite tricky, right?
Okay.
Because you have to pay attention to detail.
2005, 2018,
18 to
2020, 2023.
Which one?
Okay, the answer
This
is...
one is the heart level.
Oh, okay, the correct answer is 2020.
Congratulations
It's okay,
for
it's
this.
okay. That's fine. Okay, who got the best score? The first one is...
Is Billy.
No, no.
Oh, no.
No, that one.
Oh, that one.
Oh, the leader for changing.
Oh.
Okay. Billy!
Ooh, congrats.
Who's Billy?
It's Billy.
Okay, we would like to invite the top 5. Billy, Philip, Yai, Hannah,
and
Kay.
Kay.
What is...
Yay.
Okay, what a unique name. Come on.
Congratulations.
Come to the
on,
stage.
Come to the
Come
stage.
down to the stage. The top 5. Billy, Philip, Yay.
Hannah.
It's yay or yay?
Yay.
Yay or
Yay
yay?
or yay.
Hannah and also K. Okay,
Who
5.
make the yay name? Oh, yay. Oh, oh yeah. Please, but maybe you can come to the stage, right?
Okay.
Oh, yay.
Okay, for Fit. Berarti siapa?
So it's Fit is Ma'am. Oh, Ma'am Afid.
Okay. And then?
And Hannah, K, Pau, and Roy.
Okay. K, Pau, and Roy.
Who is Roy?
Who is Roy? This one. This is not Roy Martin. This is Roy.
This
Roy
Roy.
from FEB.
Yeah.
Okay, give a round of
Give applause
applause.
for those who become the top 5.
Okay.
And we invite Mr. Pugu to give, Mr. Razi, and we invite Mr. Razi to give the prize.
We are recorded actually.
Yes. Oh, I see. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, this quiz will be inserted to your GPA actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Extra credit.
Extra credit. You will get an A plus for this.
Of course. And the last is Billie
Eilish.
Not
What
Bill-
was I made for?
No, we don't have Billie Eilish here.
Okay.
Yay,
Please.
congratulations. Okay, maybe the last one is take a picture with Mr. Razi. Okay, 1, 2. Give your best pose. 1, 2, 3. Thank
Okay,
you.
congratulations once again. Okay.
And I
Now
think
we're moving on, yeah? to
Yeah,
the
we're
next
moving on.
session.
We already have Mentimeter quiz, and maybe they save a lot of questions.
Yeah.
A lot of questions in their mind, like what is this, what is that, and stuff. And so I think this is time to discussion.
Yeah, we
right?
have the discussion session and will be guided and will be moderated by Miss Carletina Vidianani Eka, and we would like to invite Ma'am Afid to come up to the stage and also Mr. Jafri. The time is yours.
Hello, is this working? Okay.
I think the microphone is quite nervous as I am. So, what a movie, right? So, what do you think? What comes into your mind when you watch the movie? Multiculturalism? Multicultural? Religious? What else? Political. Good. What else? Diversity. Well, if we are talking about diversity, then we are talking about the next one. What is it unity? Yeah. Talking about diversity and unity, doesn't it sound familiar for you? What is that? What is that? Right, our national motto, Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, is diversity unity in diversity. So that value is very much close to us, actually, Razi, if I may call you Razi. Yeah, and myself, as I watch the movie, there are so many interesting aspects from the movie. The murals. There are expressions, shukran, Jumah Mubarak, Jumah Mubarak, Eid Mubarak, and also there's this carnival that actually we still have the same one in our villages here after Ramadan usually, and other interesting one is the parade. The parade. What was the parade on?
The parade was, I believe it was, we have a Labor Day weekend, so it's a long holiday in the fall. It's just like one day off from working.
Oh, I
yeah.
see.
So it's in September, and every year over Labor Day we have a parade, and we have the different communities, different ethnic communities. They come out and they participate in the parade, and they show their culture. And so you saw in the parade scene all the different nationalities, the ethnic origins. People are waving their flags from Bosnia, Poland, Yemen, Bangladesh, so on and so forth. So, yeah.
It's quite interesting to see your work,
No, thank you.
Razi. And we are so honored to have you to show this that, well, perhaps most of us haven't heard Hamtramck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a small city,
Small
so
city.
yeah, it's
So it's in Michigan.
It's in Michigan. It's
in Detroit.
It's actually inside Detroit. So imagine if Jakarta had a city inside of its boundary. So Detroit is the larger city, and then Hamtramck is inside of its boundary. So it never, as Detroit grew, like most big cities do, for some reason Hamtramck never wanted to be a part of Detroit. They wanted their own identity, their own city government, so they kept their own identity and they kept their own city politics and administration. So as Detroit expanded north, they did not incorporate Hamtramck into the city. So.
Oh, I see. So I read that in 90s most of them are Polish and Bosnian.
Yeah,
but then their population getting lower and lower.
So Hamtramck, like many industrial cities in the United States, used to have a lot of factories, automotive factories. And so, of course, the United States began to outsource the factories to China, Vietnam, all these other places, Mexico, to build the cars in. And so when this happened, then obviously the factories shut down. When they shut down, then many people lost their jobs. And up until the 1990s, as you were mentioning, most of the people that lived in Hamtramck were Polish American, Polish from Poland or Polish American. And when the factories started closing, they had to leave because they no longer had jobs. So the unemployment rate went up, the population declined, and the people were leaving the community. So when they were leaving the community at the same time, the Bangladeshis and Yemenis, they started moving into Hamtramck. Another thing that was happening in the 1990s, you guys are too young to know this, but maybe you've read about it, but the former Yugoslavia broke apart, and it included many Muslim regions within Yugoslavia, like Bosnia was a part of Yugoslavia. And so when the breakup of Yugoslavia was happening, there was a genocide that happened in Bosnia. So this was also a Muslim community that was being genocided by the Serbian army. It's a basic explanation. There's a longer story to it, but we received many refugees from Bosnia during that time. They were settled in places like Detroit, St. Louis, Chicago. So Detroit was one of the cities where Bosnians were settled. Also being Muslim, they were welcomed by the Muslim community in Detroit. So they make up part of the population in the city as well. They also make up part of the Muslim population in the city. So.
And it influenced their activity, including the activist point of view. Just Padel's partner.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also demo some kind of
yeah, political and social activism. Yeah. So the film also highlights many of the larger global political events that are going on at the same time. For instance, I know here you're more familiar with the Rohingya refugees from Burma, and then also the crisis in Yemen, the civil war, which became the worst humanitarian crisis at the time. Now, of course, we're seeing the crisis in Gaza, unfold as well. So the people in this community, even though they're American, they're also connected to these global, communities and their countries of origin. So we have many Yemenis that live in Hamtramck. And many Yemenis that live in Michigan in general, in other cities. But in Hamtramck, you have a large Yemeni population. So when the war is going on, there's a lot of protest against the war and a support and solidarity for the Yemeni people. These days, we're seeing a lot of protests against what's happening in Gaza and support of Palestinian solidarity. We're seeing a lot of support. So even though it's an American community, there's still a global consciousness that the community upholds and maintains to try to show their solidarity with other injustices that are taking place in the world.
Yeah, very interesting. And there are three mainly major population now in Hamtramck,
Yeah.
right? Polish,
Yeah, Polish.
Bangladeshi,
Yeah.
and Yemen.
Yeah, those are still the three main populations that are in Hamtramck.
There's one sign that that was interesting. We we speak Bengali sign.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there are people that cannot talk or speak in English.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's many, because they're either new immigrants or they're older, and so they never learned English, or they don't speak English that well.
And also for the door-to-door campaign, say
Yeah.
that in Arabic. So there
Yeah.
are also people cannot talk in English, perhaps.
Yeah, so I can give some more context on this. Because of the voting population that cannot speak English, it's an accommodation that we make in our voting rules, that the voting ballot that you vote on can be written in your native language. So let's say somebody from Indonesia that doesn't speak English is now living in the United States, and they become a citizen and they're able to vote in the election, and there's a community with a lot of Indonesians in it. So that's a responsibility for the local precinct that hosts the elections to provide a translation into the native language, because the person is still a U.S. citizen. Of course, this is only for U.S. citizens, it's for somebody with a green card or visiting, obviously they're not voting, so they provide election ballots in different languages, whether it's English, whether it's in Arabic, Bangla, Polish. It's part of the accommodations that are provided so that everybody can vote in the election.
Interesting. Okay, so we are now inviting questions from the audience. Any questions? Yes.
First of all, thank you for the chance for giving me to ask a question.
You're
My name is Awang. I'm basically an alumnus from English literature, and I want to ask you about your movie. It's more about technical, not really about like the pure content of the movie. What piqued my interest is about the movie being a documentary movie, but lacks of narration from the third person in the movie. Is it intentional, or is it like have something you want to like say to the audience? Maybe that's my question. Thank you.
That's a really great question and a very good observation that you made. So we
I'm a movie creator myself, and that's why.
Okay, good. Yeah, so that's why you picked up on it. So yeah, so for those of you that didn't catch it, in the movie we didn't have any interviews. So typically in a documentary you have like somebody sitting in a chair, there's a camera pointed towards them, they're speaking to the camera, and they're being interviewed. So we decided not to use this style of documentary. So we used what we call a verite style, which is purely observational. So you're not having any interviews, you're just having the scenes of the documentary unfold, and the events are unfolding in real time, and we're just there observing it. We did use some voiceovers, so you hear the main characters in the film. We conducted interviews, we just didn't use the footage of the interviews in the film, but instead we used the voiceover because we wanted to remove any kind of perspective that's just like speaking, like in a didactic or educational way. And we just want you to watch and observe the events that are happening in the city unfold as they are. So that's why there's no interviews shown, only voiceovers, and the election is just taking place, and you're just watching the election take place. It's more of a like a immersive way of making the film. Like you're just thrown into the experience of an election taking place.
Pretty
You don't have
much
somebody
raw.
explaining it to you. So there's this idea of like, show me, don't tell me, so that's where this comes from. So.
Well, that's explained a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Good question. Yeah, thank you.
Great question. So, actually, I'm saving that for later, for in the making, behind the scene, but later. Okay, so thank you much for your questioning. The next question, please.
Good evening. The first I heard about Hamtramck from YouTube, uploaded by Peter Santanello. I know, yeah. So after watching,
I met with him when he came to Hamtramck. Yeah.
After watching
he went
that,
to like many different cities. So, yeah, there's a YouTuber. His name is Peter Santanello, something like that. Yeah. So he came to Hamtramck. He also came to Dearborn and Detroit. These are also cities in Michigan. And he was very interested in meeting with the Muslim community. So I was in some of his videos actually when he came. Yeah.
I'm a fan of.
Yeah. He's great. He's like very curious, and he goes to different countries and different cities to learn about these places. So I really recommend this YouTube channel. So.
And the link for your documentary actually is in the information of his.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, well, I appreciate that he did that.
And after watching that movie, I'm really curious and want to know further about this place.
Yeah.
So, thanks for bringing this movie, for me at least, because that movie is very short. Produced by Peter. It's just like a half hour movie, and everything is fast. Kids play cricket, and you go to the restaurant and something else. And I think we catch the message of this film, how the American democracy embrace Muslim community, and how the Muslim community embrace democracy, and what challenge in between. So I think we are looking forward to watching your other project. This is very splendid, beautiful film. Thank you for bringing us.
Thank you so much. It's a great comment, and if I can just respond to a few of the comments that you made. Being Muslim in America is a very complex identity. You're both accepted by the society, and you're both discriminated, as well. So both things are happening at the same time. Yeah, and you have Muslims who are achieving a lot in American society, sports, culture. We have 2 Muslims who have won the Oscar now, Riz Ahmed and Mahershala Ali. They've won the Oscar. We have many other awards, achievements in science and academia. But at the same time, especially in the last 25 to 30 years, because of the war on terror and domestic policies in the United States, we've experienced a lot of discrimination as well. And so the United States is a kind of experiment. Democracy is a kind of experiment that ideally, we're supposed to be accepting anyone that comes in despite their religion or their ethnicity or their background, but it doesn't always work like that. And so I think, there's a lot of things to appreciate about democracy and elections, and, when they work and when they work well, it's very inclusive. It welcomes everybody and allows everybody to vote and participate in the process. And there's a really good observation, by you that, you're pointing out the translation is there for anybody that doesn't speak English. In Hamtramck and other communities, the ballot to vote is translated in Spanish or Chinese or Arabic or Bangla, depending on the community. As long as you're a citizen, you can vote, for those elections. So it shows a kind of inclusivity and a kind of diversity that exists in the United States that welcomes everybody to participate. Even a lot of these communities that are voting and participating in the civic process, the election process, it's a really powerful experience for people, because this is not necessarily true in Indonesia, but in places like Pakistan, Egypt, other countries in the Middle East, we come from undemocratic places, so we're not used to and Yemen, for example, as well. So there is a strong appreciation by the Muslim community to be able to participate in the democratic process, because we didn't have that in countries at home. So to be able to actually elect the person that's going to represent you is really important and profound. So it's a big achievement for us. And in politics, we have representatives, mayors now that are Muslim that have run for office and actually won. And I just want to bring it back to the film as well, that you notice that there were 2 other candidates for mayor other than Karen, and they were Bengali candidates, but the community, which is majority Muslim, voted for Karen because they voted for the person they thought was going to be the best representative for their needs and who's going to be the best person for the city. So this is also an example of how democracy works, is that the people that are voting in the election, they're voting for not the person that shares their religion or shares their nationality or shares their ethnicity. It's the person that shares their values when it comes to how they're going to make the city better. And I think that's also an important thing to take away from the film as well. Thank you for your comments. Yeah.
Thank you. Next question. Any questions?
Yeah. The city, yeah. Local politics is very important.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Paundra, or you can call me Pau. I want to ask about the reality in Hamtramck itself. So what I watch in your movie is like it's an ideal life of democracy. Like I think the more diverse the community is, there is a lot of horizontal conflict, even between the same community itself. And although in Hamtramck there's an election which is, I believe the conflict is elevated to its pinnacle. In your movie there is nothing like that. Like everything goes smoothly, and it's a very ideal democracy. Like, right? Is the reality in Hamtramck is like what you portrayed to us in the movie, or in reality there are some conflict between the identities?
Yeah, it's another great question. We made the film in 2017, so the year after Donald Trump was elected, and that was actually one of the inspirations for making the film. You pointed out something really important, that it would appear, if you watch this film, that there's no issues, everybody's living together in peace, and there's no conflict. Well, the truth is that the elections in the prior years the Muslim candidates and the Muslim community faced a lot of challenges and discrimination. So the first person to be elected to the city council was Bangladeshi, I think in 2003 or 2005. And he faced a lot of racism. And in fact, he only served one term, so 4 years. But those 4 years were a nightmare for him. All of these racist people, they were giving him such a hard time. In fact, I think one point somebody threw a brick, like a stone, through his window, living room window. He actually had to leave Hamtramck. And but the thing is, he was a trailblazer. He was one of the early people that got involved in politics and created a path for other people to get involved in politics in Hamtramck. And democracy and politics are always messy. And so you have other people that come before you that create a path. They deal with the struggles so that this community can have an easier path, and even this path is not easy. One of the things that the people have had to do in the community is deal with a lot of economic problems. So there's things that are related specifically to Muslims, but then Hamtramck is not like the most representative of like a Muslim community in America. It's representative of a kind of Muslim community in America. It's working class, so it's people are working in like factories, or they're working in like labor, basically. And so it's not like a very rich community. And there are Muslim communities that have a lot more influence, they have a lot more affluence and wealth. This is representing a community that's like more working class, And over time, they've had a lot of challenges in this community. One of the things that divides the community is race and religion, because the Polish people, when they were in Hamtramck and all these new people are moving in, they were not happy about it. And in fact, it's one of the reasons why so many Polish people left Hamtramck, because they didn't like how Hamtramck was changing with all these new brown people moving into the city. So there was a lot of tension, but over time, through civic engagement, through getting involved in politics, the Bangladeshi and Yemeni community made a lot of really good relationships with people. And so today you have the city council and the mayor, because there was an election in 2021. It's entirely Muslim now. So there's 6 members on city council. At this time in the election in 2017 in the film, four Muslims and 2 people who are not Muslim, and then a non-Muslim mayor. In 2021, there's a Muslim mayor. Starting in 2021, there's a Muslim mayor, and all 6 members of city council are all Muslim. And there was also a lot of diversity in that. There was one Polish convert to Islam, so she converted to Islam when she was in college. And then there were 2 Bengalis and I think 3 Yemenis on the city council. And so I think the people that struggled earlier in 2003, 2005, 2009, they really created a pathway for all of these new, other people that wanted to come, the younger people to come and have an easier path. The challenge for a community like Hamtramck is not just in race and religion and racism and things like this. Those kind of problems exist, but the problems are also in economics because it's a poor community. So the roads are bad, the schools are struggling, the healthcare system is struggling. So anyone that's coming into office, they also have to advocate for those causes too. So those are other challenges as well of being a politician in a city like Hamtramck, because you're dealing with poverty, you're dealing with economic issues, school issues, roads, things like that. So, yeah, but very good question, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay, yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. Yeah, so having been a part of a Muslim community in a majority non-Muslim country, it's been like the film really hit close to home, and it's thank you so much for that. And yeah, I think what I would like to ask, and maybe you've touched on it a little bit earlier, is that when you made this film, what was it on your brilliant mind when you decided to make this incredible film? I mean, how much authenticity of Hamtramck city that, when you put all those scenes, all those great scenes together, all those amazing scenes together, it was like you went like, oh, I need to put this in the film because this is just so crucial for the audience to see and something like that. So, like how much authenticity of Hamtramck city that you want to people to see, want audience to see about this city, about this incredible city, that you put all the scenes, those amazing scenes all together. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your question and your comments. So there's a longer backstory to why we made the film, and there's a longer backstory to my story as well. And I'll give the short summary. I won't give the long story. But I studied engineering in college. So this is not my first career. This is my second career. I went through a huge transition in 2015, 2016. I left finally engineering, the corporate office job that I wasn't best suited for, because I've always been a creative person. But being a good Asian son, living in America, I wanted to live up to my family obligations and expectations and pursue a career in STEM, so I became an engineer. However, I'd always been an artist. I've always cared about the arts and films and movies and storytelling. And so when I finally decided to leave, I pursued a lot of different creative endeavors. I wasn't sure what was going to happen, but I always cared about how the Muslim community, not only in the US, but globally, was being portrayed. And we know this, you guys know this here, that in popular media and popular culture, Muslims are portrayed as what? Either terrorists or victims of terrorists. Even the way that, in the West, in Europe and the United States, how Muslims are defined is through the lens of terrorism. And so this was always has a very negative impact, not only on the greater society of Europeans and Americans. It has a very negative impact on them because they start perceiving anyone who's Muslim as a potential terrorist. And we know this isn't true. So it has a negative impact on their psychology, and it has a negative impact on our psychology as well. Because we start thinking, oh, we're inferior, and we have to constantly correct the narrative. Oh, we're not terrorists, we're not terrorists, we're not terrorists. But the thing is, when you have to explain to somebody over and over again that you're not a terrorist, it still maintains that in their head, that, oh, this person could be a terrorist, And so for me, I was very much inspired by wanting to reverse this narrative. And I wanted to be an author in the discourse on who Muslims are and what we believe and what we like to do and how we like to live and all these things, you know. And so that was really important. That's the other thing that happened. So I was going through a career change and I wanted to help, you know, retell an authentic Muslim story. The other thing that happened in 2016 was Donald Trump got elected. So my friend Justin, who co-directed the film and co-produced the film with me, and we shot the film together, we knew we wanted to respond to the Trump era. And the campaign was very anti-Muslim, anti-immigrant, anti-women, all of these things. And so we thought, oh, we should tell a positive Muslim or authentic Muslim story. And so this community we knew had gotten a lot of negative stereotype coverage. There was coverage of the city by CNN and other major international news you saw in the film. Even they asked her, yeah, in the beginning, yeah, and even CNN, this is the most important news agency in the United States, you know, and they asked her, you're the mayor of a Muslim city. Are you scared? You know, what a question to ask someone. You know, how not only rude, but like how racist, you know, to ask that question. You're a mayor of a Muslim majority city. Are you scared of being mayor of all these scary Muslims, you know, these crazy Muslims? Who knows what they're going to do, you know? You must be so scared, you know? So with the Trump coming into office, that gave another reason to like create a story about a city that's misunderstood, about a community that's misunderstood, about a religion that's misunderstood. Of course, I'm a part of this religion, I'm a part of this community as well. So those were some of the inspirations behind it. And we knew by visiting Hamtramck, by spending time there, that it's a more complex community than what the media is showing. And there's a lot of different communities that are there. There's diversity there. There's Ukrainians, Russians, Polish, Bosnians, Bengalis, Yemenis, Iraqis, Syrians. It's very multicultural, you know, and so we wanted to show that multiculturalism, and we wanted to show Muslims participating in one of the most sacred institutions in America. We have a few that are like really, really sacred. We have, you know, the elections and democracy. These are some of our most important and sacred institutions. So what happens when the Muslim community is now engaging with the most sacred institution in America? You know, and so one of the things we show is that what does democracy look like in a Muslim majority city? Well, democracy actually looks like in Hamtramck like it looks like in any other city in America. It's difficult, it's complicated, it's messy, it's ugly, it's hard work, but somehow the system is working. No matter who's participating in the system, whether it's Muslims or Latinos or African American community, no matter who's participating
You're talking about the crowded area here. So Hamtramck is only the area?
Yeah, it's only about 43,000 people.
43,000
Yeah.
people within...
I'm sorry, it used to be 40, now it's about 23,000 people. So it's
23,000.
really, really small city.
Small city.
Yeah.
And around 2 point something square miles?
Yes,
or, yeah.
2.1 square miles, yeah. So in any other city, like in the world, it would just be a neighborhood, you know, so yeah. But yeah, those were some of the inspirations why we wanted to make the film, and let the city, and that goes back to your question, like why not have interviews? Why not have like a professor speaking about Hamtramck, you know? We just wanted to let the city, its festivals, its rhythm, its frequency, the pace speak for itself. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the answer.
Authenticity reveals many things,
Yeah.
it turns out. Okay, the next question, perhaps? Any other questions? Okay, great.
I noticed it's only men asking questions. Where are
the girls?
Come on.
Hello, I would like a question from you personally, because you're an American civilian, or yeah. And my experience, I was born in 2002, so it wasn't really that long before 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
And I think that was the catalyst that made people view Muslims as terrorists, right? So I didn't live in America, but I lived in a country that the majority of was Christians or atheists, and Muslims were a very little minority. So then,
where was that, by the way?
Oh, I was in Australia for a couple of years.
Australia.
so I had to change my name.
Yeah.
A real name to a not so Muslim sounding name. So I didn't get. And in America, I'm assuming that was way worse there because the towers were hit in America, so Muslims probably had it really rough there. But did that change here? More accepted in America right now? Are people still stereotyping Muslims as terrorists in this current year?
It's a really great question that you're asking, and it's a very complicated question. I'll try to be brief with my answer. Yeah, 9/11 was a huge moment that started a trend of Islamophobia that has actually continued to this day. So it hasn't gone away. It still exists very much so. But it wasn't the first moment that really started the period of discrimination against Muslims. We have many events that took place. Of course, this is before you were born as well, but the Iranian hostage crisis, when the American hostages were held in Tehran, when the Iranian Revolution took place, the Palestinian struggle for liberation as well plays a role in that. We had a bombing in the United States, the Oklahoma City bombing. It was not done by Muslims. This was in 1993. It was in Oklahoma City. It was white nationalist extremists who conducted this bombing, but Muslims were blamed for it in the early period. So the first few people that were arrested, detained, questioned, interrogated, there were Muslims that were being investigated initially. And the invasion of Iraq in 1991, the first Gulf War, and then of course 9/11. So there's a period, that this gradually has been building up. Also, maybe many of you have studied the concept of Orientalism in school. The writer Edward Said, who posited there's a master discourse created by Europe that explains what is the West and what is the East. And they defined what is the West and the East. And Islamophobia is a byproduct of Orientalism and colonialism. And so this didn't start on 9/11. It started way before 9/11. There's many incidents, there's many generations before where Islamophobia began. 9/11 was probably one of the most dark chapters. And so the experience that you mentioned was a very common experience. And the Islamic leadership of imams and shayukh and scholars in America, some of them were even advising women to not go outside or replace your hijab with a hat or something, because your public safety now has become more important than wearing the hijab. And many men shaved off their beards. They stopped wearing religious clothes. Of course, this had a big impact because what happened after 9/11, there was extreme violence against Muslims, but not just Muslims, anyone who is perceived to be Muslim. Because in the United States, we are a very racialized society. Islamophobia is not about your beliefs. It's about what you look like. Nobody is, in fact, most people in America don't know very much about Islam. If they did, they would know that Islam is very similar to Christianity and Judaism. Theologically, in your aqidah and in your beliefs, Islam is similar, to these religions. So it's based on race. And the racial profile of a Muslim is a brown person. And so many Hindus, Indian Hindus, and worst of all, Indian Sikhs, they wear the turban, so they're being profiled as Muslim, and they're being attacked. In fact, the first people that were killed in a hate crime after 9/11 were Hindus and Sikhs. They were shot, they were attacked, and they faced a lot of discrimination in airports and by police, and surveillance by police and law enforcement was being conducted on their communities as well as the Muslim community. So we had many laws that were changed in the United States specifically that targeted the Muslim community, that added extra surveillance, monitoring on the community. But it impacted more than just Muslims. There were Hindus, Sikhs, Arab Christians also. If you're Arab, like from Lebanon or Iraq or Syria, and you're Christian, you were also being targeted, both by the government and by society, for racism. And so it's something that we haven't recovered from yet. We're still suffering from that. It's not as bad as it was before. And I think when President Biden came into office, he reversed many of Trump's policies, the main one being the Muslim ban. So there was a ban on 7 countries being able to visit or come to the United States. President Biden took that away. Of course, now, this is the last thing I'll say that makes life complicated for Muslims in America, is the situation in Gaza. We have a genocide that's going on. Of course, our government there's no other way to put it. The United States is supporting and funding what's happening in Palestine right now. And so it's having a huge impact on the Muslim community in the US because the government and the popular opinion is still supporting the Israeli policies. It's having an impact on the Muslims of the United States. So people are afraid of losing their jobs if they support Gaza, if they support Palestine right now. In the entertainment industry, it's the same thing. People are losing their jobs, people are losing their agents, their representation. So there's a whole kind of legal discrimination that's taking place right now. Things generally in America are getting better, but we have these moments where we dip again, and then we have to fight for our rights, And so we saw a lot of solidarity when Trump got elected. Many people came out to protest against the Muslim ban. And most of these people were not Muslim, because we're a minority, So we had these famous airport protests. At every major airport in America, all of the activists, they went out and they were protesting. Thousands of people, 10,000, 15,000, 20, 30,000 people were going to the protests in support of the Muslim community in the United States. So, and right now, the vast majority of people protesting against the genocide in Gaza, they're not Muslim, It's the average American, the young people, professors, journalists, writers, activists. They're going out and supporting what's going on, supporting the Palestinians, supporting the victims in Gaza. So, it's complicated because both things are true. We face discrimination, but we also have a lot of solidarity. Right now, despite what's happening in Gaza, there's so much support. And you see the videos, right? You see the protests in the United States. I've gone to protests where we had 400,000 people in Washington, D.C. protesting what's going on right now. 50,000 people in San Francisco, 30, 40, 50,000 people in Chicago. And most of these are just the common American, citizen that's coming out. This just doesn't accept. And poll after poll after poll. When we do polling on this issue, most of the people want ceasefire. It doesn't matter your religion, your background, your ethnicity, the vast majority of Americans want a ceasefire right now. So, that shows there's a kind of solidarity and a kind of support for what the Muslims are suffering from right now. So it's complicated. I can say a lot more about it, but I'll, just to give a brief summary, of your question. But it's a very good question, so yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for asking.
Thank you. So the world is changing now.
I think so, yeah.
And progressing to a brighter future.
I think so. I think even on the situation in Palestine, you have so much more support than you did even 2 or 3 years ago. And I think I give a lot of credit to young people, Gen Z, and the role of TikTok and educating yourselves and also telling the story of Palestinians, telling the story of what's happening in Gaza. I think the young generation has played a big role in that. So.
And I think that this movie could advocate the unvoiced voices. Yeah, so it's interesting that you close the movie with prayers.
Yes.
Yeah, from the 2 religions, and also not to mention the emotional speech by the remarks by the Is there any background reason why did you put it at the beginning? I'm sorry, the end.
Yeah, there's a lot of moments in the film, and some of you guys asked about like the artistic choices in the film. There are many artistic choices that we made in the film that specifically represent the transition and the multiculturalism. So the transition from Polish to Muslim or Catholic to Muslim, and the multiculturalism of Catholicism, Christianity, and Islam. So one example of this is in the opening of the movie, there's a song, "Welcome to Hamtramck," you know, well, it's like this song, you know, it's like a jingle. Yeah, exactly, yeah. It's celebrating the Polish names, and it's celebrating the Polish identity of Hamtramck. At the end of the film, when the credits are playing, it's the same song. But we had Bangladeshi artists, musicians, come and use the harmonium and the tabla and other instruments to do a rendition, a cover of the opening song at the end. So that was one choice that we made. There are many other things, like the opening scene with the store. It's used to be a Polish store, Stan's Groceries, and then coming soon, Bangla Groceries. Yeah, coming soon. So that represents the transition as well. The mayor's speech, when we filmed that speech, we knew that was the end of the film, because she summarized all of these different ideas and ideals of what it means to be a resident in the city.
Part of the community,
Yes.
continual formation that creating the city.
Yeah.
Neighborhoodness, cultural understanding.
Yes, cultural understanding. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a very close community.
Yeah, very close community. And of course there's differences between people, and there's misunderstandings. Even today there's a lot of misunderstandings, you know, but the idea, and I think it's like an analogy for the United States, is that we're always trying to become better, always trying to become better. We sometimes fail, but we always try to become better.
The melting pot of America.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I believe that it is have this kind of value of liberty.
Yes.
This kind of value of not the only the diversity, but the melting pot. Perhaps some say that it just old school, but I think this is a very good also one that can bring us together.
Yeah.
Okay, so is there any comments, wrap up from the students? From the audience? No? I think, well, it's Razi's then. So what is the last, statement from you to all of us that, represents the movie and also our humanity?
Well, I mean, first, I'm so honored to be here. It's really amazing to, you know, we've shown the film, you know, once already to another university in Surabaya, and we're going to show it again to many other audiences. It's really incredible. I mean, to be able to share this film, which was made on like a very tiny budget. It's about a small town in the United States, like not a lot of people know about it. You know, to be able to bring it here and show you guys, because I think there's a bigger message in the film, which is about unity and diversity, and the beauty of multiculturalism, and the value of the democratic process, the potential of the democratic process, and what it can be, and including everybody in the process is really powerful. And so I'm honored that you guys gave time to pay attention, to watch the film and ask such deep questions. I'm inspired by you, that you're here, that you're watching this film, and you're educating yourself, and you're expanding your perspective by watching films like this. I think when I look at your generation, I have a lot of hope because of what you've accomplished already and what you continue to accomplish. I think, you know, with every generation that comes, you're more educated, and you're more sensitive, and you're more aware, and you're always trying to fight against discrimination and racism and prejudice. And this is really inspiring for the older generations, because I'm a millennial, but I'm like an old millennial, you know? And so I see what Gen Z has done in creating awareness about so many issues like climate change, gender equality, women's education, and of course what's happening in places like Palestine, you know, as well. And I give a lot of credit to Gen Z, and there's going to be a generation that's going to come after you. Yes, eventually you guys are going to get old also. And so to me it's really inspiring to see that, you know, yes, like, you know, we're creating all this work, and I hope to make movies for a long time. There's many projects that I'm working on, but I also am excited to see what you guys are going to create, and what you're going to write, and the art that you're going to create, the poetry that you're going to write, the social media that you're going to create, and the films that you're going to make, because it's going to really change the world. And I see this is already happening, and I'm excited to see it happening even more and more. So, you know, that's it for me. I mean, I'm just really humbled and happy to be here. So
I am humbled to have you, and we
thank
are
you so much.
honored to have you. Well, we are so glad and excited, as the host has just said. And talking about immigrants, hope, it is not only limited to a certain race. It is the idea of humanity that we always have hope that make us strive and to struggle, to live, and of course, we need to be comfortable to our own self, to be independent, to our own in our own place. We're creating our family, we are creating our society, and also creating the humanity. Thank you very much for voicing those core values of humanity.
Thank you guys so much.
And I think that this is the end of our session. Thank you very much, Razi. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Afid and Mr. Razi
Jafri for the discussion.
What a great discussion.
Yeah, what a
because
great
I learned
insight.
a lot, start from humanity, multiculturalism, and also the movie itself.
Yeah, and thankfully there's no one asking for Mr. Jafri's smart number because it's actually forbidden, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, the next we're going to announce
The best Insta story.
Yeah, we're going to have 5, yeah?
Yeah, we're going to have,
5 best Insta story. Okay, the announcement will be later on the Instagram of. All right. DL.
DLE.
Okay.
Okay, closing. So everyone, how do you guys feel?
Okay.
Hungry? Yeah, it's just like maybe 1 hour, not 1 hour.
I don't know. I'm not fasting actually, but I'm just not eating, but I'm not fasting. Okay.
1 hour will be go to iftar, and today is very incredible actually.
Okay, and don't forget to the audience, you got the flyer, right?
Oh yeah.
So there's a
the
QR
flyer.
code that you need to scan, and you need to fill out the survey.
The survey, the suggestion.
And please don't forget to follow the Instagram of LIH_FIPUB.
Okay, thank you guys for coming. What an incredible events we have.
And that's the wrap of this event. On behalf of the organizing committee, I am Pascal Jordi.
Oh, but before that, I'm sorry for bothering you. We also have to take the picture of this special moment.
Okay. So how do we arrange?
Yeah, so maybe for the...
Okay.
Fakultas Ilmu Budaya Universitas Brawijaya mengucapkan